There will be a national inquiry now into the grooming gang scandal. I'm delighted to speak with Head of Domestic Policy at the think tank Pickthall House, Jacob Williams. Jacob, good evening. Thank you for your company, and I'll say thank you for hanging on as well, because we were meant to speak to you maybe a few hours ago at the top of the show, so thank you for your patience.
No worries, things happen, yeah.
What do you make of this big, massive U-turn from Sir Keir Starmer? I guess he had no option, really.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary U-turn. We, as many others, have been calling for a full national inquiry for many, many months. It's very much delayed, very much at the last moment that Starmer has made this U-turn. It's extremely welcome. It will be extremely welcome to the victims, to everyone who hopes to get justice, to everyone who hopes to actually have a resolution to this issue at some point in the future. But it is really doing this at the absolute last moment. And I think everyone in the country is going to be hoping that there won't be any further attempts to resist or to interfere with the progress of the full national inquiry that we have desperately needed for a long time.
So what does this need to look like, Jacob, this inquiry? Does it need to lead to arrests, for example?
Well, we can't prejudge whether people have to be arrested. That's going to depend on what the inquiry finds. What it absolutely must not be is, as Charlie Peter was saying earlier, it can't be like the previous so-called inquiries, which have decided to review everything from the Catholic Church to abuse that happened 50 years ago. It's got to be very closely focused on these grooming gangs. It is appropriate that the report has acknowledged that there is a cultural or ethnically inflected component, but we should also point out this is a pathological minority subculture within the British Muslim, Pakistani and Asian community, and working for a think tank that's led by British Muslim patriots. The overwhelming majority of British Muslims and Asians absolutely condemn these appalling crimes, and we're at the forefront of calling for this inquiry to have all the powers it needs to ensure that justice is done for everyone. OK, I understand that. Why is it so rife then in the Pakistani community? Or well, as you described, the subsects of that community. With particular subsections of that community, yeah, there is a problem of people who've come within a couple of generations and who perhaps have not integrated over several decades from rural parts of Pakistan, where there's little education, perhaps little connection even with the more modernized parts of Pakistani society, and who have not really adapted to respect to the extent that one would hope for other communities. That's absolutely true. It's a real problem. I hope the report will actually, the inquiry will actually investigate the ways in which these narratives and cultural attitudes have been allowed to ferment in certain communities. And then we should have some proportional, sensible measures to actually promote proper integration in the future.
I think it also extends, Jacob, tell me if I'm wrong, it also shines a light on other cultural integration issues, such as first cousin marriage, FGM, so on and so on. Yep. Are we going to have a wider conversation about that kind of stuff after this inquiry?
I think we already are, and rightly so. Pickthall House has also agreed with the calls to ban first cousin marriage. It does damage civil society. It does cause very serious health risks. It's not a practice, and FGM should go without saying. That's not a practice that anyone can tolerate in a civilized society. And there haven't been enough prosecutions for FGM. The law is not properly being enforced. These are wider issues of integration. We do need to have a conversation about them. But I hope that conversation will be one that's done in partnership with British Muslims and Asians and other communities, so we can all work together on problems that, as I say, the majority of people in these communities do recognise need to be addressed.
OK, Jacob Williams, you are Head of Domestic Policy at the think tank Pickthall House. Thank you very much, Jacob.